Okay.
On July 18, 2008, Duluth, Georgia police found elementary school teacher and adoptive mother of 3, Janai Coleman, brutally gunned down in a parking lot. The police rushed to investigate what kind of monster could have been behind this ruthless act. Thanks to eyewitnesses, CCTV footage, and DNA tests, the detectives zeroed in on the prime suspect and had a mountain of evidence against him. Little did they know that all their efforts were meaningless, and the true perpetrator would be someone they never could have expected.
We gotta go in that mall, and lady just got shot.
Where at it? That place mall.
Where the bus station's at.
Is she breathing? Conscious and alert?
Yeah, she moving a little.
Did you see where the person is that did it?
Yeah, he was in a car, but he pulled off. Like, it was like a beige car.
It was 9 p.m. on the 18th of July in Duluth, Georgia, and Janai Coleman was doing what she always did on Friday nights, waiting to pick up her daughter. She had parked her gold Dodge Stratus near Gwinnett Place Mall just outside Red Lobster, where her daughter was finishing her shift. This was her routine. Familiar, safe. But that night, something was off. As Janai sat in her car, a man emerged from a nearby gas station with a gun in hand. Before she could even process what was happening, he was at her window, ordering her to get out of the car. Janai had no chance to react. Before she could even have time to plead or fight back, she heard a gunshot. A single, deafening blast echoed through the lot. The bullet had torn its way through Janai's chest. But the attacker wasn't done. He dragged her from the car and tossed her onto the pavement like she meant nothing, before speeding away in her vehicle, leaving her in a pool of her own blood as she called out in pain for help. Some witnesses rushed to help Janai, while others called 911. When the paramedics arrived, they stabilized her, racing against time to save her life. But
Janai Coleman's murder breaks my heart. A mother, a teacher, waiting for her daughter gunned down in cold blood. It's gut-wrenching to hear her calling for help as witnesses scrambled. The 911 call's panic hits hard. How could someone do this to a woman so kind? As a parent, I'm furious imagining her family's pain. This wasn't just a carjacking, it feels personal. Let's uncover who stole Janai's life and why, because her story deserves justice.
so the detectives had just one question. Was this really just a carjacking? The act felt personal, too violent and too bold, more like a crime of passion. But little did they know the investigation was about to take a turn that no one saw coming. While detectives couldn't yet determine if this was a crime of passion or just a random carjacking, one thing was certain. They needed to find Janai's car. For nearly 24 hours, the search turned up nothing. But then, on the 19th of July, 2008, a call came in. Janai's gold Dodge Stratus had been found abandoned, sitting 30 miles away from the crime scene in Forest Park, Clayton County. The car was immediately towed to the crime lab, where forensic analysts began their meticulous examination. The inside of the vehicle looked untouched, nothing out of place, except for one thing. A cigarette butt was wedged under the driver's seat. Now that seemed insignificant at first, but once the detectives knew that Janai didn't smoke, they realized that the cigarette could potentially belong to her killer. If they could extract DNA, they could find exactly who took Janai's life. But the detectives had no idea just how complicated this was about to get. So while forensic teams worked on extracting DNA from the cigarette, detectives turned their attention to the gas station across from the crime scene, hoping CCTV footage had captured the attack. But luck wasn't on their side, as the camera didn't cover the angle that Janai was murdered. So with no usable footage, the detectives turned to witnesses. A bus driver who had been near the scene at the time of the attack had heard the gunshot and then saw a black male dragging Janai out of her car before taking off in the stolen Dodge. She described the suspect as wearing khaki shorts and a white shirt with green sleeves. Luckily for the detectives, two pieces of surveillance footage of the man from two different locations. At the gas station store, the suspect was seen purchasing an item before leaving. But then, He came back to purchase a pack of Bunsen Light Lung cigarettes, the exact same brand of cigarettes that were found in Janai's car. Surveillance footage confirmed his movements, tracking him as he abandoned Janai's Dodge in Forest Park. So at this point, the detectives believed that they had everything they needed. They had a suspect, they had video evidence, and they had DNA from the cigarette. They were so close, yet so far from solving the case. When the forensic lab results came back, detectives were hit with a setback. The fingerprints found in Janai's car had no matches. The DNA from the cigarette? Also no matches. Their prime suspect was still a ghost in the system. So with no name, no identity, and no criminal record to match, detectives had one last option: to turn to the public. So, detectives released the surveillance video of the man at the convenience store, hoping that someone would recognize him. By February of 2010, the case had long gone cold. But then, out of nowhere, a breakthrough. A notification from CODIS, the National DNA Database, popped up. The cigarette butt had finally found a match. The suspect had entered the system due to a recent drug conviction. The man was 50-year-old Ronald Eugene Smith. He perfectly matched both the witnesses' descriptions and the surveillance footage. With a court order in place, detectives wasted no time, and on the 3rd of February 2010, nearly 2 years after Janai's murder, Ronald Eugene Smith was arrested. But they were still far from justice for Janai, to say the least. With solid evidence linking Ronald Eugene Smith to Janai Coleman's murder, detectives were confident no one saw coming.
Okay, having these rights, you want to discuss it? I can explain to you.
Yeah, I would like you just to explain to me why I'm here.
Okay. Really, it's about this vehicle, okay? I'm going to ask you questions. Have you ever seen this vehicle before or been in it?
No, I have not.
Have you ever met this woman before in your life?
No, I haven't.
Vehicle you said you've never seen before? Mm-hmm. And the woman you've never seen before?
Yes.
Okay. Your DNA ended up in that car.
That's interesting because my DNA couldn't have been in that car because I've never been in that car.
Though it is normal for suspects to deny involvement in a crime, there was something different about this one. The detectives had all the evidence facing Donald, and he just looked them in the face and said no. Donald was adamant of his innocence, and the detectives definitely didn't like that.
The issue we're up against, I was hoping you said, yeah, I saw her, I used to work with her, we hung out for a minute, and that was it, but I left. When I left, she was very much alive. Well, something like that we can somewhat explain away. But when you say you didn't never even seen her before, how the hell did his DNA get in the car if he didn't even know her? No, I don't know her. Never seen her.
Sensing that Donald was being deceptive, the detectives played the surveillance video they had of him. But this only boosted his confidence.
I have a picture basically on a computer. I want you to look at it and let me know if you recognize it as yourself or not, okay?
Sure.
This is the day I'm talking about. You recognize it?
Was it this guy right here?
Yeah. You're saying that's not me?
That is definitely not me. I don't have a shirt like that. I only can't see the face on the person, but that's not me.
Yet again, Donald stood his ground.
Donald's denial is infuriating. His DNA is in Janai's car, yet he stares detectives down, claiming innocence? It's chilling how calm he seems, like he's untouchable. But something's off. His confidence feels rehearsed. As someone who values truth, I'm skeptical. Is he hiding something bigger? The cigarette butt, the footage, it's all pointing to him. But his defiance makes me question if there's a twist. This case is unraveling fast, and I'm hooked to see where it leads. Who's really behind this?
One expected.
Your cell phone number at the time was 404-200.
Correct?
No, that was not mine. That was my brother's phone number.
Okay, does he live in Gwinnett County?
Yes, he does.
What's your brother's name, sir?
Ronald. Ronald.
Is he older, younger? Does he live at the same address as your parents?
He's my twin.
Twin?
Yeah.
Like born at the same time or identified as that?
Like born at the same time, like identical twins, yeah.
Okay.
Detectives were convinced that Donald was just playing games, but if this was a game, it was a very expensive one.
DNA is split between 10 twins. It's indistinguishable. They share DNA, identical twins. I've never been in that car.
For me or Detective Cruz, how would your DNA get in that young lady's car?
I've never don't know the young lady, never seen her. There would have to be somebody who shares my DNA, obviously.
Conclusion I'm jumping to what you're saying. If it's somebody shared DNA, then it will have to be either you or your brother.
Obviously.
What's phone? What color is this phone?
Yo, hold on. I'm not going to implicate nobody else in no crime.
You're not implicating. I'm just asking what color is your brother's phone.
Do you know where he's staying?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I do.
Where is that, sir?
I don't know. Well, because now I guess he's going to be the suspect.
No, I need to talk to him.
If your brother did something that stupid, you need to go ahead and just extricate yourself from the whole situation.
You're right. I don't think I need counseling on that. This is a difficult moment.
I understand.
Previously that you would do a polygraph. Do you want to just do that?
No, but I want to know. Now, when I refuse this test, you going to go ahead and book me and take me over where you're going to take me to?
Right now you aren't charged. You are under arrest. I'll tell you what, I'll just go ahead and give you some time. You want some fresh water? No.
Donald indeed had a twin brother. But were the two accomplices? Or was Donald trying to throw his brother under the bus? Or is he telling the complete truth? Hoping to find out, the detectives ran a polygraph test. And Donald asking them to identify which of the twins was in the footage. And they said it was indeed Ronald in the footage. Additionally, on a smoke break from the interrogation, Donald hand-rolled his cigarettes, something entirely different from the brand found in Janai's car. So now the detectives were confused because Ronald had no criminal history, so everything pointed to Donald. Ronald was called in for an interview, which he refused, and then he began to dodge the police. They eventually found him hiding in his parents' home. The detectives had focused all of their efforts on Donald, but now, for the first time, Ronald became their new focus. On the 5th of February 2010, Ronald was arrested and brought in for interrogation.
We're in a detention type situation, okay?
Can you, whatever you're going to say, could you put it on hold for just a little while?
Why not?
Can you? You say I'm going to be here for hours. Just put it on hold for a little while. Maybe I think you need to draw some blood or something.
You want him to draw the blood first?
Just,
Well, you tell me what you want to do. I mean, I want to talk to you, but before I can talk to you, I gotta read you. I gotta read you your rights.
Well, you don't have to arrest me right now.
What do you mean I don't have to?
Well,
What do you mean, Ronald? Explain to me. I mean, I have to get this done. This is just a formality, and then we would just talk, and that's fine. If you tell me come back in a little while, I'll come back in a little while. But I have to do this by law. I have to.
well, you wasn't by law when you was.
We were sitting down talking, and we were having a smoke. I have to advise you of your rights. The fingerprints have come back, okay, and the fingerprints are a match. So for us to discuss the matters of the fingerprints and the other things, I have to advise you of your rights. Okay? You have the right to remain silent.
I'm just combobulated right now. I can't.
Okay. All right. I'll leave you with your thoughts, and then I'll come back in and you let me know. But you do understand what I've just read to you, right?
I understand.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, one other thing. So then my brother can be released?
The truth, though, was that the detectives couldn't release Donald until they were absolutely certain that neither of the brothers was playing games.
Okay.
I'll get a different formula for you to use. Unless you want to use yours. I mean, it's your minutes, it's up to you.
I might as well burn them up.
Okay. I'll get it for you. Sit tight.
Hey, a whole lot has happened. They'll be letting Donald go as soon as possible. All right.
A twin brother? This case just took a wild turn. Ronald's sudden appearance as a suspect flips everything. The family pointing at Ronald in the footage is haunting. Imagine their betrayal. I'm torn between shock and curiosity. Are these twins playing games, or is Ronald the real killer? As a viewer, I'm glued to this drama, but my heart aches for Janai's kids, left without answers. This isn't just a crime, It's a family, torn apart by lies.
My little time is running up on this phone. I tell you this, Dad. I'm in deep shit. Yes, oh yes, oh yes.
Is this something accidental? There's something like that I can almost understand. And I guess that's the question he's saying. Accidental makes more sense, and that's what he was alluding to. You seem to have so much emotion right now. Obviously, you care for someone for 45 years. That's something more that I can understand, but just looking for some understanding.
What was said? What was said that made you, that either set you off? Yeah, I guess the only words I could say, like, maybe set you off or angered you or upset you for things to have gone the way that they did.
I'm not prepared to go into nothing like that.
What do you mean?
I'm just not prepared to go into nothing like that right now. I'm just not.
Or just because emotionally you can, or is it draining? Or
no, I'm just not prepared to give any kind of a statement.
Okay. Do you know when maybe you might be prepared to talk to somebody? You need some time.
I need to get past the hard shit.
The what? I'm sorry. Would you like to see your brother?
I just want my brother to go.
Your brother really wants to see you. He misses you and he's worried about you. He asked me, "Can I see my brother? I really would like to see my brother." Those are the exact words out of his mouth. I want to see my brother.
You talk to him today?
He's right next door. He's sitting in that room right there.
Are you serious?
I swear to you. I swear to you. He wants to see you.
But you can't let him go.
Why don't I do this? When I bring him in, you got to sit down. Let him see it. He's worried about it.
He can't see me right now.
Right now. He's dying to see it.
Yeah,
all he wants to do is hug you and tell you that he loves you. And that he's going to be here for you.
Not right now.
So you want me to go next door and tell him that he's 4 feet away from his brother and can't see him?
Yeah, do that.
All right. I'll go over there and tell him. Why don't you get some water, gather yourself together, and see your brother.
From the moment that Ronald stepped into the police station, it was obvious that something was off. He was visibly restless, and that phone call that he made to his loved ones did not seem to make things better. But before bringing him in, they did this.
I want to do, I don't know if you knew this woman, but this is the woman, okay? And her name was Janai, okay? She had 3 adopted children. Alright. She was a school teacher. Her family begged me just to find out what happened. They begged me. And they're very religious people. And they were more just wanted to know why than anger. And they stressed that to me. Okay? Her cousin's a deacon. Out there from another state. She had 3 little adopted children. Okay? They just wanted to know why. And I promised them I would at least ask the why. And I perceived it to be accidental. Okay? But I don't know. And I promised them I would ask why. I told him I thought it was an accident. I'll be honest with you. I mean, am I right in accidental?
I can't. I swear, I just can't say it right now.
Okay. Well, you let me know, okay? Please. Because I made them a promise I would try to just know why. They don't even care about anything else but just to understand what happened and why. Okay? If you need something, just knock on the door.
Okay. Can I?
You need a tissue?
trying to push for a confession, the lead detective used Reed Interrogation Technique 7, offering Ronald a socially acceptable reason for the crime. Usually, most suspects jump at this chance, eager to minimize their guilt. But Ronald was so devastated that he shut down completely.
Ronald's pain feels raw, but is it guilt or fear? Hearing about Janai's adopted kids and her family's plea for answers cuts deep. I'm a mess thinking about their loss, 3 children without their mom. Ronald's silence screams guilt, yet he won't crack. As someone who believes in closure, I'm frustrated. Why won't he explain? The detective's push for truth mirrors our need to understand. This case is a roller coaster, and I'm desperate for Ronald to confess.
Ronald had gone to the bathroom to smoke a cigarette, but the detective who followed him could not believe his eyes. Ronald had lit up the exact same brand of cigarette that was found at the crime scene. So back in the interrogation room, the detectives changed tactics, and they shifted their seating, sitting in front of the camera rather than having Ronald stay there, assuming that if he didn't feel that the camera was on his face, he might let something slip. And they were right.
And why? It was an accident. Straight accident. It was a hair trigger. Whew. It was a hair trigger, and it was an accident.
Okay.
It was an accident. I swear to God, it was an accident. And I should have known it was a hair trigger because I had accidentally shot. I had accidentally shot it that morning on accident. And I set out to take a car. It was something I'd done before when I was way younger. Heck,
Right.
But always in my mind, it was if the gun was this for something. So there wouldn't be much resistance. But it was an accident. I was in the hotel room that morning. And the gun went off. I had it in my hand and it handed down. I barely touched them. And the same thing happened later that evening. There. When I got out, I noticed the police officer, basically dressed like a police officer. I guess he was like doing extra night duty or something. I mean, just
One
extra job.
One line again.
Thing.
Right.
And I didn't see him at first when I parked the car. So then I kind of walked towards him because I wasn't sure if it was also police or not. So I walked towards him like I was looking for something. And then I was on the phone. And I oh, yeah. I was on the phone. And I tried to play it off like I was looking for something. That's why I started yelling into the phone.
Okay.
And so I went back to the car. And I saw him coming up, walking to the car, and I took off. And I seen him on the radio in the mirror. And so I knew I couldn't get too far. So I left out of that parking lot, went down the street, parked in another parking lot. Got out. I went to the hotel. But it was, I did not mean to shoot that one. It was a hair trigger. And I didn't drag her out of the car. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
the gun went off. She said, "You shot me."
So how was she gonna take her with you? So you?
No, she got out of the car.
Oh, okay.
I didn't drag her out of the car.
Okay, all right.
It wasn't,
Different witnesses see things differently, especially when they hear something.
I did not drag a woman out of the car, period. I wouldn't care what anyone say. I did not do that.
Huh?
I didn't mean for the gun to go off in the first place.
You're just trying to get a car.
She got out of the car. And she said, "Help." And I was getting in the car. And she said, "Help" again. Only lighter this time. And I drove off.
Panicked, right? I'm just trying to get out of there, I would imagine.
I just wanted to get out of there.
That's reasonable.
The woman didn't deserve this. I had no intention on doing it.
Ultimately, the police released Donald, and Ronald was charged with the murder of Janai Coleman. When Ronald Smith took the stand in court, what happened next stunned everyone. His story did a 180, or hell, maybe even a complete 360 back to where we started. Ronald claimed that it wasn't him who murdered Janai Coleman, but rather his twin brother, Donald. According to Ronald, he had nothing to do with the crime. He was simply helping Donald clean up the mess after Donald murdered Janai and stole her car. But there was one major problem. The jury wasn't buying his story. The evidence told a different story, up until the way in which he made his confession. Ultimately, Ronald Smith was found guilty of the murder of Janai Coleman. He was sentenced to life in prison.
Ronald's
plus
life
an
sentence
additional
feels
25
like
years.
justice, but it can't heal Janai's family. His accidental claim and blaming Donald again? Pathetic. The jury saw through his lies and I'm relieved. Yet I'm haunted by Janai's final moments, crying for help. As a human, I ache for her kids, robbed of their mom. This case shows how one moment of violence shatters lives. Let's honor Janai by remembering her strength, not Ronald's excuses. SFX Sad Strings and Emotional Category, Background, 18 dB.